Welcome is 1970. Bobby's up against Petrosian and opens up with knight to h3. Obviously, just kidding. Bobby opens with e4. Tigran opens with a Caro defense with c6. Bobby strikes at the center with d4, controlling central squares. d5, hitting the pawn. We get takes, and bishop to d3. Tigran develops with knight to c6, hitting the pawn. Bobby defends, and then we get knight f6. So just continuing with development, we get bishop to f4, bishop to g4, hitting the queen. Queen goes pawn hunting, and then Tigran goes knight to a5. So basically hitting the queen and defending, then the knight is defended by the queen. So we get queen to a4 check. And then we got bishop dropping back, just intercepting that check, and then Bobby just dropping the queen back to c2. So what this does, this has put the knight on an awkward square. It's on the side of the board, and we've also got the bishop on a very inactive square. So anyway, we get e6, just preparing a developing square for the bishop and also just supporting the pawn chain. Then get knight to f3, queen to b6, and then a4 from Bobby. So the idea here is to stop or to not allow the light squared bishop from coming into b5 and trading itself off. As we also saw from the previous video, this is the bad bishop for black because his central pawns on the light squares, and this is our good bishop because our central pawns are on the dark squares. So anyway, get rook to c8, aligning itself with the queen. Bobby continues with development and develops the knight. We get the knight going back to c6 and then queen to b1, so as he doesn't want to allow any shenanigans with the knight coming in. The pawn will be pinned and losing his good bishop. Knight to h5, hitting the bishop. Bishop drops back, and then we get h6, so just getting off this battery on the h7 square. We then get knight to e5 from Bobby, knight f6, so going back, and h3, just controlling g4 from the knight. We then get bishop to d6. The game we got castles, and again you cannot take this because your queen is hanging and you'll be losing as well. So in the game we got a mouse slip from Tigran, so putting the king in the center. Not sure why he didn't want to castle. We can see that's the best move according to the engine. So anyway, we got king to f8 and then f4 from Bobby. So going all out and trying to push this pawn and open a file for the rook. We get bishop to e8, just going back and defending. Bishop f2, so rerouting, and then we get queen to c7. In the game we got a bishop to h4, threatening to take the knight and damage the pawn structure. We got knight going back to g8, and Bobby continued to push with f5. So in the game we got takes, and a bishop taking, and then Bobby continued with f takes, so the pawn is pinned, so can't recapture, and then we get bishop to f6. So here the idea is possibly to take out the dark squared bishop. In the game we got e takes, forking the bishop as well as the knight, so forcing the recapture, and then we got knight to f3, takes, and knight to f6, so the knight coming alive again. We then get knight to f6 check, so this is a very forcing line from Bobby. So this is forking the king and the rook, so we get takes, and then king escaping to e7. We get the queen going in to f5, king running back, and then rook a to e1, so putting the rook on an open file. We get queen to c5 check, king just drops back, and then Rook to f8, so aligning with Bobby's queen, and this rook is defended by the black queen, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. You then get queen to e5, rook to c7, ladies and gentlemen. b4, hitting the queen, and obviously the queen can't recapture here because you'll just be picking up that rook. So in the game we got queen to c6, c4, oh no my pawn, we get takes, and bishop to f5. So what this does, this is just taking the escape square away from the king. We then get rook f to f7, so doubling up on the 7th rank, and rook to d1 check. Rook f to d7, and we get takes and takes, and queen to b8 check. So this is a very crucial moment here. We can see the bar is up +7 for Bobby, and then we get king to e7, rook d to e1, ladies and gentlemen. But Tigran resigned in this position because you can also see that the only move here is actually a very sad move. You can see the best move is bring in your queen. Secondly is the knight, and the mate in 3 bring in the queen. So if you, for instance, run with a king that's just mate, the knight is pinned. And so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.